Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Save the Date. I'm one of your hosts, Heath,
What's good, y'all? This is Jamie O.
and we're back with reaction videos. That
Mm-hmm.
rhyme with that Jamie O, I like that. That kind of hit different. Before we get started, let's take care of some business. You follow us at Save the Date Now, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Always posting videos and new content every week to Apple and Spotify. So we're doing a reaction video. We'll be doing 2 videos today. And let's get right into the first video. And this first video is all about the fall of the dating app. There is a creator, just opening it up right now, who posted this. It's actually on the Way We Met. And it starts off just talking about a business tidbit. Bumble cuts 30% of staff as online dating hits an inflection point. And what the creator goes on to say is that what we're witnessing is we have reached essentially the saturation point for dating apps. Everyone's been on it, everyone's been working the angles on it, and consequently, everyone is tired of it. And now we're witnessing going back to what this creator says pre-2015 levels. So for those who don't know, Tinder started around 2010, 2011, really started to take off by 2017. Yeah, I know, it's been
That's
around.
crazy.
It's been around for about 14 years because they're 2010, 2011. They're really big in the college scene. Then it made, the breakout into the professional the young professional scene. And then it grew from there, almost similar to how Facebook started as strictly just a college-based application site. And then it, opened up its doors from there. And I do think we are at an inflection point. Let's just take a look at this video and we'll get right back to it. All right. So here's the deal, guys. Jamie, I want you to jump in here first and foremost before we speak to everyone else. Do you think we're at a point where dating apps are a dub, and now people, through all their social anxiety, through all their I don't want to be outside for too long-ness, they're ready to say, you know what? It's worth the risk if I can just drop out. I can college drop out of this app.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think people are tired of apps. When I was on it, that's what I used to see most of the time. Give me a reason to delete this app. Like, obviously, I was interacting with women, so I saw that a lot on their pages. I don't know. I didn't have that on my page, but I'm sure maybe some men have had that on their page where they're tired of it too. It's like that. I mean, but it's funny though, bro. Like, I don't understand how people really thought these apps were going to get them in a relationship. Like, I understand the ingenuity in trying to build and forge and manufacture happiness and love and relationships, and it's like folks are desperate, they'll try whatever, but the actual operation of the dating app, its functionality was oriented towards keeping you on the app. And I mean, like that's general information that anybody who looks up what the apps are for will show you and tell you. So it's just, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if people had like really false expectations or just kind of wild expectations about what was going to come from it. But, it's another thing that people are blaming. There's no accountability in how people use the apps. Now something wrong with the apps. Before it was, something wrong with marriage. So people tried to do different types of relationships. Then it was something wrong with polygamy. So we tried to do this, or monogamy. So we tried to do this. And it's like, people, we are the thing that drives apps. We are the things that drive relationships. We are the thing that drives marriages. So the institution, there's nothing wrong with the institutions. There's nothing wrong with these things other than the life that we put in them. And so it's just interesting to me that like there were so many people who really thought love was going to come from a dating app.
Yeah. I also think young people in particular are usually caught up in the mechanisms or devices of their age. Why did people have pet rocks in the 70s? Why did people start smoking cigarettes in the 60s? There was just certain trends that got popular when you're younger. They embed themselves in your consciousness, and then you either do it or you get away from it. But, it's a pivot point away towards a pivot point away. And I just think that's what Tinder and these apps became. Like you, I do think the apps have reached a certain saturation. People are realizing that they have to do the same thing over and over again. The apps have not found a way to shortcut this same rigmarole, basic questions you have to ask when you meet somebody. So I don't know if you remember.
No. To the contrary, mon frere, it actually has shortened it. That's the problem. It's like people want an outcome that comes from required time, required building, and the apps really shorten that process, and that's why I'm just like, yeah, I don't know, but go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, what I was saying was that for people who were on the chats, people I know who are recently on the apps, one of the things they said, and I've heard this from different people who are on it at different times, people who are on it 2017, people who are on it recently, I just feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again. When I meet people, especially if you get a match and then you're on the chat feature chatting, or you take it to, text, and you're talking to somebody, I just feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again, because the person has to get to know me, right? So what do you do? Where do you live? Where you're from? Learning about someone's history, their traumas, their dramas, their triumphs, their failures. You just feel like you're just at the same time almost copy and pasting the same thing over and over again. And that's because if you are meeting somebody in real life, you have different points of connection in the physical that you don't have in the digital. And so you rely on a lot of text-based exchanges in order to get to know somebody. And because you're typing something and then reading it, it's like if you're writing the same essay and over and over again in school, or you're writing the same news article over and over again. You're not obviously doing those exercises, but it has the same effect of, I'm just saying the same thing over and over again. In real life, if you're talking with somebody, you're not as cognizant of your words because you're not reading, or really you don't have a feedback loop to what you're actually saying other than the person. You're not saying, okay, looking at a person, you're seeing the screen pop up behind their head, like Minority Report, where you're actually seeing your words transcribed on some kind of, digital teleprompter, augmented reality teleprompter. And you become very, acutely aware of how tiring it can be to even read the same things that you say over and over again, but you have to say them because people do want to know where you live, who you are. Oh, that's interesting. Do you have any kids? No? Great. Yes, great. And it just becomes the same thing over and over and over again. And like you said, I think the apps, while we do need to be responsible for our behavior, very astute point, I think the apps also really just make it difficult for people, as you mentioned with the algorithm, to really truly engage with individuals. And probably this is what you were saying earlier, where they're now relying so much on the app to do the connection, relying so much on the app to do the heavy lifting, that they're losing their ability to just genuinely connect. One of the things I noticed on Instagram is slowly but surely people really talking about, hey, come and talk to me in public, say hi. Rizzing is getting big again. I mean, it was always big, but I feel like it's getting bigger, where people are learning, how do I approach somebody in public? How do I overcome my fear, especially for men to women, overcome my fear and just take it, hey, just be kind. Somebody from their Instagram, you don't have to go for the full Monty and get their number.
Right.
Low key entry, low key outro. That's it. I'm out. And I think that's becoming bigger because the app's just tiring.
Yeah, I mean, listen, maybe my experience is just a little different, but I feel like the apps are made for games, and they're made for people who know how to pull on certain strings to get certain outcomes.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. People have mastered that.
They're very transparent about their functionality and what they stand. Like, it's the reason why they don't call it a love app. It's called a dating app because they're leveraging and playing on and taking advantage of the loose definition of the word, knowing that most of the people who are going to engage the app are really on just to hook up. It's like that's really the goal, to keep you on long enough for you to meet a couple of people to make some bad decisions with, and hopefully that turns into a pattern.
Yeah. Nancy Jo Sales, who I've quoted quite a few times here, one of the writers I love to read, wrote a powerful article about Tinder in 2017. And, she interviewed men, she interviewed women. A lot of it was focused on men, though, if my memory serves me correctly. It is an 8-year-old article. But what she talked about, or what she revealed, rather, is you had guys on there who, like you just said, knew how to, and they said it, this term, their text game was out of this world. And one guy was like, I've slept with, 41 women in 1 year alone last year off of Tinder. And because my text game is straight, I tell them, you know what it is. This is not going to be serious. Let's meet up. Let's get to where we got to go so we can get done what needs to get done as quickly as possible, or as long as possible. I guess it was up to him, but it didn't matter because he was going to get what he needed to get in a day, date or method.
And that's only one approach. There are some guys who are so good at it, they never have to say what it is.
Oh yeah. They can. Some guys love bomb. I mean, I think everybody has their entry points and their ways of their exit points. They have their way of getting in.
And I should limit it to guys, because listen,
we're
just talking about Bumble. That's supposed to be the app that is.
Yes, started from the woman who broke off away from Tinder, went to Bumble,
and it's supposed to be for people who supposedly pursuing relationships. But I've had more listen, straightforward type. Let's get to the action. You know, because you know women are supposed to make the first move
Yes.
on Bumble, and I've had some first moves, some opening lines that were like, "I love your profile. Can you sit on my face?" Or "Can I sit on your face?" Or like, you know, this one girl was like, "I need to see how big it is because light skinned men are usually small." Like, I mean, coming out the gate, bro. Like with
Oh
that,
yeah.
and
This is
so
not
it's
to
like,
bash men.
yeah,
I'm
no, no,
just
no,
saying,
no.
yeah, yeah,
But I'm
yeah.
saying like the game is definitely open to all players. It's equal opportunity for anybody who wants to create that kind of outcome is what I'm saying. Like there are every type of he, she, they, it, cat, Zimza, like everybody is taking advantage of the mechanism of apps and not necessarily need like we've talked about before, online personalities can be as big and as bright and as vivid as your imagination can be because it's online. It's obviously when you do have to meet that this reality has to line up with all of this stuff you've been talking. But
I
until
agree.
then, some people are good enough, bro. They can sell a dream. They know how to spin that yarn on you before you know it. Where are my panties?
Yeah, yeah.
Card is coming out.
Where's my boxers?
Facts.
And I think that if we start to really have better conversations about in-person meeting, in-person dating, we could get to a better space of connection. This is what
Mm.
Save the Date was formed around. This idea that dating, meeting someone, being around someone, getting to know yourself and that person, them they get to know themselves, and you was going to lead to better outcomes of not just romance, but friendship,
Mm-hmm.
networks, wholeness. I mean, you may never speak to that person again, or you hit them up on, the happy birthdays on the gram or whatever you use, WhatsApp. But that experience with that person left you whole. You felt overjoyed, or you felt good at the end of a date. It wasn't a point of excessive criticism or stranger danger flags. You just said, hey, this just isn't working for us, or that's not working for me. And we just faded off. And hey, you're cool and I'm cool. Good to see you in the street. If I bump into you at a venue in the city or at a club or a bar lounge or just any other kind of event, I'm running down the promenade. I know you're running. We bump into each other. We'll chat and keep it moving. It's just a good time to connect and know that you were restorative to me. I was restorative to you, and we had a good time together. I think a lot of that's been missing in the meeting off the apps dialogue we've seen, where literally people have told me, you don't even have my real name there, and you're hitting me up like, yo, you want to meet? You want to meet? You just feel like it's a meat market. If you're really not into that, or you were into that and you're trying to transition, there needs to be different routes out, different exits for people to get off that ramp and get onto a different highway. And I
Yeah.
think the people that would Save the Date, what we're doing, other, I would say, dating sites are going to offer that. And other, I think, dating connectors and influencers will speak about that. You see a first responder single in the city here in New York City, where there's just straight up a meetup for women to meet first responders, men who are in police or firefighters or EMTs, and that has been going pretty well. They had some testimonials off that. They had a meetup in March called I Like Chocolate or something of that nature, where it was just they were looking for millennial black men to show up. And this is what was crazy to me about this is I knew from the pictures it wasn't just going to be black women there. It might have been also no black women. So again, that's a whole nother conversation. But again, they are sponsoring this opportunity to meet in real life and actually let the connection happen offline, as opposed to pre-gaming on.
Well, I mean, obviously, I think people will en masse feel like meeting offline or meeting in real life or in person is more ideal. But and that just means we have to come with better personalities and working on ourselves when we get in these situations and we talk to people. It can't just be, damn, man, you got a fat ass, or are you the type of dude that want to go 50-50? Like it can't just be what do you bring to the table, and do you deserve a high value? Like that can't be the questions and the conversation when we do get together and meet each other outside, because that's happening too. So yeah, let's say that when we are meeting outside, let's take the best opportunity to bring our best selves, be kind
Yeah,
in these
and
situations.
get out of the bubble of internet conversations.
As much as is possible, try
Yeah,
to stay away from the cliches, even though find ways to meet the touch points that you want to feel safe and all of that. Like, obviously, we advocate for that. Safety first.
but I
But,
agree with you.
try to get out of the rigmarole of those cliche questions that a lot of people ask when they're first meeting people. Get out of the internet chatter,
Yeah,
as Heath just said.
yeah. So that's a good segue to our next video. This was on Spiritual Word on Instagram, but it's a TikTok creator, The Gospel Tea. And let's just take a brief minute to look at this video.
See what the gospel tea is talking about.
Okay, let me get started.
Mm-hmm.
Everything this creator said,
Mm-hmm.
everything this creator said is the gospel truth. Quick summation. She talks about...
Well, wait. Just read the caption. Just read the caption, because I think that'll be the best explainer.
Well, the TikTok creator has sparked a new conversation about the qualities people seek in a partner. When searching for a partner, people often prioritize characteristics like faith, finances, and fitness, which I was getting ready to say. But a crucial aspect is often overlooked. The ability to suffer well is vital in a partner, as life is inevitable to bring tragedy and hardship. It's not a matter of if, but when. And will you have the partner you need to support you, as you should be the partner that they need to support them? And this is the main ingredient, is what she's saying. The faith, the finance, and the fitness has its place. Important, because sometimes if that is out of whack, you're going to end up in a really negative place. But outside of that, excuse me. But if you end up with that and it works for you, that's great. But even if those are tight, you're going to end up having a major problem that you cannot foresee. Nassim Taleb calls it the black swan. He was talking about in terms of the financial system, the economy, but there's going to be a black swan in your life. You'll adopt a pet, the pet will go out and the pet will die. Things will happen in your family. People do die, unfortunately. Parents pass away. Surgeries need to be had. People go through life cycles, things such as terms like perimenopause and menopause that bring about life changes, hormonal changes, impacts to mental health, and go through their own cycles as well. Children go through life cycles. You can have a kid who's doing well, another kid who's doing well, a third kid who's just a terror, and you will suffer. Now, some people will take more of a Buddhist standpoint and saying there's no reason for suffer, it's just pain, but you suffer, and that's fine. However you want to slice the cake. Pain, suffering, regardless, you're going to go through a very dark time, and you're going to need a partner who's going to stand by you, and you are going to need to be a partner that someone wants to stand by them. Because it's not enough to say, oh, I want. It's important to know that you can give. You can be that person who can be supportive during the dark times of your spouse's life. And I'll be honest with you, dude, I felt like this was so refreshing, because you will get online, go into your social media apps, and the amount of rhetoric and conversation and dialogue around the sometimes most inane BS gets to me. Again, I have no problem with your particular tastes or preferences about fitness, faith, or finances. But there's so much conversation at that top layer, they're never getting to the deep soil where the roots really are, which is you are going to have to select a partner that you have to go through not only inconvenience with, but tragedy with, and pain with, and crisis with, and yes, suffering. And no one talks about that, because you could marry the guy who has $800K a year, $1 million, $2 million a year. You ask him for money to help take care of your grandmother or your mother, and he won't give you a dime. And really will chapter and verse you on some, well, we already set our finances for X, so why are we going to break our budget for them? Your mother knew she was getting older. She knew she should have had Medicaid. She got rolled off Medicaid. Sorry to hear that. There's a nursing home down the block that'll be convenient for you to get to on a daily basis on your way home or going to work, and you can go see her there. Oh, you don't want your mom in the home? She's not coming to live here. No, she's alone, doesn't have anybody, but she's not coming to live here. People aren't willing to sacrifice for you to make your transition through darkness, because you're not staying there, but you are transitioning through it. They're willing to make your transition through darkness that much more better, to bring more light into the tunnel, to show you don't have to stay here. You were never meant to get here. Let me help you get through. But you can marry a spouse who's going to detonate that tunnel and bring debris all around you. And now in the dark, you got to figure out how you're going to get out and start digging, start moving debris, on top of being in the dark and all the perils and dangers that come with that. And that may be the dude who has the 8-pack. That may be the dude who has the pedigree, the Ivy League degree, and the nice, big, desirable job at a major corporation. That may be the woman who just got promoted. That may be the woman with the fat butt, the baddie with the fatty. But when you needed them most, and you were going through one of the darkest times in your life, they detonated that tunnel to keep you locked in. And trust me, when you guys are there and you hear that noise and that tunnel collapses and all you see around you is nothing but pitch black, and you hear weird noises, I don't wish that on anybody. It is the most harrowing, difficult, dreadful experience of your life. And these are some of the situations some people may end up in because they were going after the superficial characteristics of marriage. It's one thing to say, hey, this matters to me, this is my preference. But what I'm seeing people is just prioritize preference to the point they're excluding good people with good character.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what society has kind of programmed people for today. As we've talked about, everything is about your preferences and my wants and my needs and my checklist. And, sometimes it's hard to think about, what kind of partner am I going to be to somebody when we're going through, to even do that kind of inventory. Forget about how they going to hold me down. It's like, am I thinking about how I can be fruitful, how I can be helpful, how I can be healing to them in advance? Am I thinking about like, yo, listen, I know we got our own like joint account, but I'm just gonna have some extra brown paper bag bread just because I know, like, she ain't gonna she never gotta know where it comes from when I give her an extra little bit. He never has to know why I'm able to help out the way he never has to know, she never has to know. But like, are you thinking about that? Are you trying to be proactive and come up with ways to be an asset to the home or to the relationship? I don't know. We had a very weird day and time where it, like I said, is the priority is us, me. So yeah, I mean, I appreciated this post too. It was very refreshing for me because that is actually one of the reasons, or one of the things that was highlighted to me about my ex-wife. Like, yo, she's a rider. She's a soldier. And it was one of those things that I got to see early on before I was even really interested in her romantically. And it's one of those traits that I'm like, I wish more people talked about it, because, when you do have tragedy, especially if it's around family or around a job loss or, whatever type of tragedy, when you do have it, you really do want to feel like you got somebody solid in your corner to hold you down. And there's nothing like having somebody hold you down that you could hold at the end of the day, make love to, have some affection, or, you know what I mean? Like, share some intimacy as well as being there for each other, healing each other. Like, it's nothing like that. It feels beautiful. Like,
It's wonderful.
when that is part of your dynamic and in a relationship, like somebody who's reliable, someone, and not just reliable in the sense that I can always get what I want from them, but reliable, like whether they got it or not, they sliding with me. We arm in arm, we go down, we go down on the ship together.
Yeah.
That type of thing. Like, it feels wonderful.
I feel like I'm in prophet mode.
But let me get my organ on.
Well, in the sense that whether you look at typical Christian scripture or just your morality texts like the Chaucer, Canterbury Tales by Chaucer, there are people who warn of bad behavior and the consequences of bad behavior, or the consequences of bad decision making, or the consequences of following bad advice or poor wisdom. You could, if there's such thing as poor wisdom, right? It's just actions or beliefs or information that's unwise to follow. And I'm really just impressing upon people the need to, yes, dance with your preferences. Nothing wrong with dancing, but settle down with character.
Not characteristics, character.
Yeah. Dance with your preferences, but settle down with character. There's so much you can achieve with your spouse and your partner if you're both on the same page. You are literally unstoppable. Unstoppable. And the storms will come, but like all storms, they'll pass away. I'm just saying to you, if you settle down with character, you are opening up the probability. It becomes a high probability that no matter what comes, you guys will weather the storm and you'll come out the champions. You'll come out victorious. Whether that's victorious with starting a business, buying a house, overcoming almost insurmountable odds with buying a house today because it's not the same as it was 30, 40, 50 years ago. Starting a business, raising a family, supporting each other, loving each other, great and wonderful, ecstatic, into other dimensional sex. It's all there if you guys can just be on the same page. And you are most likely going to get to those outcomes with somebody who has the heart to become who they need to be, to do the things that you guys need to do, to have the things that you want. And that's based on character.
So if I hear you correctly, you're saying in addition to the faith, finances, and the fitness.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The through line is that character and all of that.
Yes.
Yeah. You could be rich with low character.
Yes.
You can, I mean, there's some people who are high in the faith and of low character.
Yeah, dance with your preferences.
And like you said, that guy with the 8-pack with the crazy body or the IG model could be soulless, empty inside. So Yeah, that character's big.
Wouldn't take the $5,000 that he was going to contribute for a trip to Japan or overseas and say, you know what, your mother needs this more than I do right now because she needs that surgery and she needs the help with put some money on her books because she needs help with her rent. So I can always go to Japan. I can always double back on my boys' trip. I could always go to the Outer Banks. I could always. But you only got one mother, and I'm thinking about her, and I know you love her more than anything else in the world. It was only you two growing up. It was the only thing you had was a love for each other. She sacrificed for you, and I love the love that you guys have together. So here. Oh, no, your mom doesn't owe me any money. We good. She's straight. If I know your mom's straight, then I know you're straight. Then that means if I know you straight, then I'm straight. Good enough. And that dude may not be 10 in the face, 32 in the waist, 8 in the pants. That woman may not be 10 in the face, size 3 in the waist, with the biggest butt in the world. She may not be. She may be, but she may not be for you. But if she has that character, I'm telling you,
They do some wonderful things out here.
you guys can do remarkable, otherworldly
Especially if y'all both got character. Hey,
accomplishments.
things can get done.
Revitalize whole cities.
Mm-hmm. Whole community.
Save
for
families.
Real. For real. Yeah. Yeah.
I heard one guy, a gentleman, me and you saw, a Christian minister, and he said, stand at the gates of hell and conduct traffic. People are going to perdition, and you could stop that and turn their whole lives around with your love. That's how powerful your love can be together.
Yeah, and your example, for sure.
Rippling out to generations that'll never meet you, but will hear the stories of your love and what you did for each other.
And on that note,
We're over time. Guys, thank you for listening. This has been, another episode of Save the Date. Follow us at Save the Date Now, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And until next time, thanks for listening. Take care.
peace.